Hey, Shadow. Hey, Corey. Hey, Remy. Jabe. Melanated Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Jade. Jade.
This time it wasn't that. I had a whole bunch of devices running that I didn't want to run all in the feed. So I had to mute everything real quick. So it wasn't my mic not being muted was the problem. It was other things being muted. So either way, we're back. It's Black History Month. And we have another location for our graveyard host. He's traveled out to the Midwest to visit the grave of Charles Henry Turner. Does anyone know who Charles Henry Turner is? Except for Cardina Star. She cannot answer.
Oh, wait, I forgot to text everybody.
Well, Charles Turner was a very prominent entomologist. Is anyone familiar with entomology? That's right, Jabe. Entomology is the study of bugs. Charles Turner was a bug scientist, and he was one of the first, if not the first, Black bug scientist. So we're going to talk about Charles Turner today. Does everybody hear me? Is there an echo?
I don't hear an echo until I talk.
Oh boy, we're all hearing echoes today. Thank you. All this stuff happening in space that's making this happen. And the Illuminati and the FBI who's making this stream messed up because they don't want us to talk about Black history. Yes. They want us to talk about they want us to speak Chinese on streams everywhere. But anyway, we'll get into Charles Henry Turner. Charles Henry Turner was born in Cincinnati, Ohio on February 3rd, 1867. Notably, his birth came 2 years after the end of the Civil War. He was born to parents Thomas Turner and Addie Campbell, a church custodian and nurse, respectively. He was married to Leontine Troy in 1886, and the couple had 3 children, Henry Owen Turner, Louise May Turner, and Darwin Romaines Turner. After the death of his first wife, Leontine, in 1895, Turner remarried to Lillian Porter. Excuse me. sometime between 1907 and 1908. The two remained married until Turner's death in 1923. He died on February 14th, 1923. February 14th. What's happening on February 14th?
That's Valentine's Day, but February 15th is Polite's next hearing.
Wow. How coincidence. What a
It's a
coincidence.
solar storm or something, Shadow, was jacking everything up. Say what, Jada?
I said, what a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Charles Turner died from acute myocarditis. So I believe that's something to do with the heart. I could be wrong.
Shadow, what's that? What do you know?
Acute myocarditis. Let's see. Acute myocarditis is also known as inflammatory cardiomyopathy. Is an acquired cardiomyopathy due to inflammation of the heart muscle. Symptoms can include shortness of breath, chest pain, decreased ability to exercise, and irregular heartbeat. The duration of problems may vary. Oh wow! So, well, I believe that the health tip for next week is about heart health. But anyway, moving along. His place of internment is Lincoln Cemetery, where our graveyard host is in Chicago.
Wait a minute, Jada.
Yes.
Friday the 13th is on. Is Friday the 13th this February? Oh Lord, hide your
It may
kids,
be.
hide your wife.
Actually, hold on. I think it may be.
Jada answered it.
No.
It's on a Sunday.
No. Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 11th. Friday is the
I was gonna
11th.
do a black serial killer special if it was.
Oh. Well, I'll find the next Friday the 13th in a moment. He is the paternal grandfather of Boston City Councilor and community organizer Chuck Turner. In 1886, Turner graduated valedictorian from Woodward High School, marking the start of his academic career. He began college at the University of Cincinnati in 1886 and graduated with a BS degree in biology in 1891. During his undergraduate education, he was mentored by early comparative psychologist and biologist Clarence L. Herrick. A summary of his undergraduate thesis on neuroanatomy of birds, the neuroanatomy of bird brains, was published in the Journal of Science in 1891. Turner earned his MS degree in 1892 from the University of Cincinnati under the undergraduate advisor Herrick. Immediately after earning his MS, Turner served as an assistant instructor in the biology laboratory at the University of Cincinnati until 1893. Turner began a PhD at Denison University in 1893. And if I said 19, my apologies. From the program, but the program was discontinued. He attended professorship in science in the science department at Clark University in Atlanta, where he also served as chair of the science department. The Turner Tanner Hall at Clark University is now named in his honor. Sources fail to determine his length of service, but it is estimated that he was at Clark sometime between 1893 and 1905. After his time at Clark University, Turner had his career experience at high school in 1906. His first career experience at high school in 1906, when he obtained a position as principal of the college high school in Cleveland, Tennessee. There's a Cleveland in Tennessee, huh? Yeah, never knew that. He then resigned the position in order to pursue the professorship in biology and chemistry at Haynes Normal and Industrial Institute in Augusta, Georgia in 1907. While he was teaching, he continued to study insect behavior. During this period of time, Turner pursued his PhD in zoology at the University of Chicago. He spent the 1906-1907 academic year and the summer of 1906 working on his degree before graduating magna cum laude in 1907. He was the third African American person to receive a PhD from the University of Chicago. He was advised by zoologist Charles M. Child and Frank R. Lilly, as well as Charles O. Whitman. In 1908, Turner gained a teaching position in Summer High School, where he remained until his retirement in 1922 due to his ill health. It is somewhat contested whether Turner chose to teach in high school or if he was unable to find a permanent job position in academia. Between 1893 and 1908, Turner applied for a position at the Tuskegee Institute. Charles I. Abramson, in 2003 article on Turner for American Bee Journal claims that Turner was unable, rather than willing, to get an appointment at the University of Chicago, and the Tuskegee Institute could not afford his salary. Wow. So his scientific contributions were Turner published 49 papers on invertebrates, including habits of mound-building ants, experiments on color vision of the honeybee, hunting habits of the American sand wasp, psychological notes on the gallery spider. A large amount of Turner's research was conducted while he was teaching high school classes at Sumner. While at Sumner, he published 41 papers between 1908 and his death. Notably, Turner published 3 times in the Journal of Science. In his research, Turner became the first person to prove that insects can hear and can distinguish pitch. In addition, he first discovered that cockroaches can learn by trial and error, and that honeybees can see visual patterns. Although he attempted to demonstrate that bees were endowed with color vision capabilities, his experiments could not prove this, as he used red cardboards to this end, which bees do not see as a color. Yet, in doing these experiments, he advanced important principles of associative learning, such as stimulus substitution, the fact that a conditioning stimulus becomes a reliable predictor of an unconditioned stimulus. Turner's work was different from the major. Oh boy, I sounded like someone else reading that. Let me read it for real. Turner's work was different from the majority of scientists of his time, as he clearly adopted a cognitive perspective to analyze animal behavior. He used concepts such as learning, memory, and expectation, among others, in a time which most scientists believed that animals, such as insects, were exclusively driven by reflexive taxis, innate reaction to the external stimuli. This cognitive new view would only reemerge much later in the studies of animal behavior. And that was the life and times of Charles Turner. And we have a couple videos for you on Charles Turner that may have some samples. They're pretty short, so we're gonna wrap this one up quick because we're gonna be running to watch Negroes.
It's only 8:15.
Oh, we're not gonna wrap up that quick. I got stuff to talk about, because there are some important things about Charles Turner's life that we know that you may have picked up on, that we're going to talk about later, that aren't present in a lot of the movement today. But we're going to get started with this video. So, oh, my eyes hurt. I believe it's
Sideshow.
The Sideshow. And pay close attention, because this may be interesting for you. Oh, who exactly is talking about Charles Turner?
Scientists used to think bugs were just reflexive machines incapable of true decision-making or learning. Now, of course, we know that's not true. Insects are complex cognitive creatures. And Charles Henry Turner, a researcher and school teacher who is possibly America's first Black entomologist, played a big role in helping the scientific community realize that. His work laid the foundation for what we know about insect behavior, knowledge which has improved our understanding of everything from ecology to neuroscience. Nowadays, it's common to see scientists researching the minds of bugs, like studying learning in bees to figure out how to increase crop pollination, or simulating fly brains to understand how neural activity determines decision making. But back at the dawn of the 20th century, biologists and psychologists alike believed that insects simply were not capable of that kind of thinking. They believed that all insect behavior could be explained by specific responses to specific stimuli. Like one American physiologist wrote that caterpillars were machines enslaved to the lights. But Charles Henry Turner thought there was much more to them than that, and he ended up being right. Turner was born in Ohio in 1867, 2 years after the American Civil War, and from an early age he took an interest in insects and other animals. He reportedly read book after book after book about bugs, but books never seemed to sate his curiosity, so he began to study the natural world around him too. After graduating first in his high school class, he went on to earn his bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Cincinnati, determined to have a scientific career. His research was already starting to make waves. Like in 1892, the same year he earned his master's, he published a summary of his thesis in the prestigious academic journal Science, which may have been the first science paper from a black scientist. And Turner was just getting started. By the time he got his PhD in 1907, he published roughly 24 papers. Still, after obtaining his doctorate, he couldn't get a professorship at a well-respected research university, probably because he was black. So in 1908, he accepted a teaching position at Sumner High School in St. Louis with a starting salary of $1,080 a year. That meant his equipment and resources were limited, and there'd be no undergraduate or graduate students.
Hold on.
But nothing.
$1,000 a year?
$1,000 a year. Let's look at the equivalent. I think that's probably like 20 grand a day, but that's not PhD money.
No, it's not PhD money at all.
And what was that? 1907, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, his insatiable curiosity. His research ended up showing that insects and other animals can perceive their worlds much like we do, and the way they behave in response is surprisingly thoughtful. For instance, in 1910 and 1911, he published conclusive evidence that honeybees see colors and patterns, and that they use that information to make foraging decisions. That might seem like a pretty obvious conclusion now, since we are aware of how flowers can shape pollination activity. But at the time, scientists...
Boy, my guessing math is crazy.
Color, let alone recognize patterns.
So $1,000 in 1907 was roughly $29,659.79.
That still ain't PhD money.
That ain't no PhD money.
That ain't even a quarter PhD money.
Right.
Shame.
Clever experiments demonstrated that these insects can learn too. In his experiment, he placed food for the bees in uniquely colored and patterned containers. Once the animals discovered which container had the treat, they would seek out any container with the same color or pattern. Then he changed which containers contained the food, and it didn't take long for the bees to switch to a new go-to vessel.
Hey, Sabo.
That they had learned from experience. And Turner also realized bees weren't special in their ability to learn. In one experiment, he trained cockroaches to behave totally unlike cockroaches and avoid darkness. He also conducted what many think are the first Pavlovian conditioning experiments in insects. After one stimulus is paired with another to create a new learned response to the original stimulus, a technique, of course, made famous by Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov. Turner was trying to see if moths could hear airborne sounds, which, like with honeybee color vision, was debated at the time. So he contained moths in such a way that he could see their wings move, but they couldn't fly away. Then
inhaler,
sounds at them, and
inhaler.
Most of the moths reacted obviously to various whistles and pipes he played, demonstrating that they could indeed hear. The trouble was, one species didn't sure if that was because moths couldn't hear or if they just didn't care about the sound. So
he took those nonchalant moths and he played a particular sound while
handling them roughly. Lo and behold, after several bouts of this, the moths started to try and flee whenever he played that tone all by itself. So they could hear it, they just had no reason to react until it meant they were going to get roughed up. And they learned to have a different response to the sound over time. That is textbook Pavlovian conditioning. Those are just some of Turner's contributions to our understanding of animal behavior. He kept conducting his research until his death in 1923. He published 41 papers in his 15 years at Sumner High, all while teaching high schoolers chemistry, biology, and psychology. That's more than 2 papers per year on average, which, for context, is higher than most of his contemporaries at colleges and universities. And Turner's clever experimental protocols continue to receive praise today, especially since his experiments were some of the first animal behavior studies to employ solid controls. His foundational research went on to be cited by the zoologists, entomologists, and psychologists that essentially established the field of comparative psychology. And now that field is helping us figure out how neurons really work and how cognition happens in animals of all kinds, from the humblest of bugs to human beings. So it's fair to say that Charles Henry Turner helped start a revolution in how we think about thinking. And all because he took the time to really observe the world around him, including species that many others had overlooked. If you enjoyed learning about Turner and how his work helped shape an entire field of science, you'll probably enjoy our other episodes on pioneering scientists. Maybe you'd like to watch the one about Ada Lovelace next and how she invented computer algorithms a century before computers even existed. It and all of our episodes are available right here on YouTube for free because that's what we do here. We make educational science videos for everybody. And if you really like what you see and you want to help...
Goodness gracious me. My bad, y'all.
Nah, you good. If you want to know more about science and science history, check out that channel. They offer videos for free. And this is our next presentation. Also, I wanted to add on, right? I looked up the average salary. I couldn't find college professors. I'm still looking, but for teachers, it looks like teachers were making anywhere between like $50–$60 a month as regular teachers. But that was just that was a teaching. That would be people who just went to like teaching schools, not like PhDs. So I'm still looking. And if you're in the group chat, I posted that link so you can help me look too. You can find it.
Okay, next up, we have Urban Nerds Worldwide.
Shout out to Urban Nerds.
Yeah. And
all other nerds as well.
That too. Thank you, Sabo, sweetie.
Shout out to Marvin Burwell. I don't know him, but shout out.
This next video is about amazing and about a man known as Charles Henry Turner. Charles Henry Turner was a pioneer African-American scientist and scholar. Among his most notable achievements, Turner was the first African-American to receive a PhD from the University of Chicago, and the first person to discover that ancestors can hear and alter behavior based on previous experience. Pioneer African-American scientist Charles Henry Turner was born on February 3, 1867 in Cincinnati, Ohio. His father worked as a custodian and his mother was a practical nurse. The young Turner was actively encouraged to read and learn. Turner excelled at his studies, graduating from Gaines High School in 1886 as class valedictorian. He enrolled at the University of Cincinnati that same year. In 1887, he wed Leotone Troy. The couple had 2 sons, Harry and Darwin, before his wife's death in 1895. Turner graduated with a bachelor's degree in biology in 1891 and earned a master's degree from the University of Cincinnati the following year. During his studies, Turner found work as a teacher at a number of schools and had an assistantship at his alma mater from 1891 to 1893. To help find a teaching position, Turner contacted Booker T. Washington at Tuskegee Normal Industrial Institute, here Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Some reports indicate that Turner lost out on a position to George Washington Carver, another distinguished African American scientist, and some moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where he taught at Clark College, later known as Clark Atlanta University, from 1803 to 1905. In 1907, Turner graduated from the University of Chicago with a PhD in zoology, becoming the first African American to receive such a degree from the institution. Shortly after being turned down from a teaching position at the University of Chicago, Turner moved to St. Louis, Missouri, where he taught at Sumner High School until 1922. During his career, Turner published more than 70 research papers. He pioneered research techniques in the study of animal behavior and made several important discoveries that advanced our understanding of the natural world. Among his most notable achievements, Turner was the first to discover that insects could hear and alter behavior based on previous experiences. He showed that insects were capable of learning, illustrating in two of his most famous research projects, that honeybees can see the color and recognize patterns. He conducted some of these experiments while working at Sumner without
Alexis.
research assistants or laboratory assistants. In 1922, Turner moved to Chicago, Illinois, to live with his son Donald. He died there on February 14, 1923. His last scientific paper was published the year after his death, in which he explored a method for conducting field research in freshwater invertebrates. Several schools have been named in Turner's honor in St. Louis, Missouri, the city where he spent so many years as a teacher. On the campus of Clark University, he is remembered in the Tanner Hall building. And children have learned about his influential work through the 1997 children's book, Bug Watching with Charles Henry Turner, by Emily Ross. In recent years, groundbreaking work has been reintroduced through the publication of selected papers and biography of Charles Henry Turner, Comparative Animal Behavior Studies in 2003. Charles Henry Turner's indelible work in the Black community should never be forgotten. Thanks for watching the Urban Nerds Worldwide channel. Be sure to hit that like button and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You guys support Urban Nerds and support this project that we're doing. We're looking forward to seeing you in the future. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Do. Ding, ding, ding with the
All right, this time I was talking to myself. So, without Charles Turner, we wouldn't know that roaches could learn through trial and error. So, thank you, Charles Turner, because without you, we wouldn't know how to dispose of roaches. And people wouldn't be mad at roaches or people being called roaches. It'd just be a free-for-all with the roaches. So thank you, Charles Turner, for your contributions to science and the science of entomology. I just want to say something, right? For the last two of these Black History presentations, we talked about Black men who were, well, Timothy Thomas Fortune was definitely incendiary, but Charles Turner wasn't. He just had a job. And if we go back to our graveyard host, you'll notice something on his grave. I want y'all to peep something, right?
Graveyard host.
Where's the graveyard host?
Don't speak. Graveyard host.
We don't want to say our graveyard host name because we don't need his delusional followers up in here. We already got enough delusional followers.
That part.
But anyway, if you notice over Charles Turner's name, what does it say, y'all?
father. Well, it actually says dad, but yeah.
It says dad. Oh, I see a bot.
Bot.
Who got the bot? Where is the bot?
Bot.
Somebody get the bot because I can't find it. Oh no, that's not a bot. That's you. You saying elbow calls. My bad. I thought that was bots.
Not bots.
Not bots. False alarm. But a lot of times, I think we're losing sight of that, right? There's a lot of people who are fathers who have responsibilities, and they spend their energy yelling at people in the name of blackness. Peace, cold-blooded. Now, the question is, if you don't raise your children, right, and your children upon your death don't view you as dad lovingly, did you really do anything for the black community? If you went to your death and there's been no time you could look back where you participated in society in a productive way, did you really help the black community? Because talking good and making stories up about where we came from is nice, and it made people feel good at a time. But the long-lasting impact comes from people who figure out how to do that. By that I mean helping black people and doing something for black people while taking care of their personal responsibilities.
Yes.
Because if you forego all your personal responsibilities to help black people, you'll probably end up yelling in front of an abandoned building, being halfway homeless.
Gifts. Donations.
So in Charles Turner's life, despite the fact that he probably wasn't paid the wage that he should have been paid, and it did not afford him the high-tech equipment of the time, he was still able to make an impact on the scientific community as well as take care of his family. While I did research on Charles Turner, I didn't find any writings of Charles Turner complaining about how he didn't get, and I'm sure it bothered him. He saw his
Were there
counterparts
any
making
writings on shiftless Negroes?
right. And also keep in mind, everything that he did was during the height of Jim Crow.
And let me point one thing out. He was peer reviewed on them 40 something. He was peer reviewed.
Every single book. It wasn't 90 books of made up material, and he did all of them. It wasn't his group of girlfriends that wrote all his books and put a bunch of pictures in them. Right? It wasn't copy and pasted off of other people's books. It was his own work. And
oh, cool, you got lizards.
And these are the type of, that's a scholar, right?
Yes.
So when me and Trip get in here and we decide to talk about Black history, you don't have to be a scholar to do that. That's the responsibility of all Black people, especially Black parents. So when we put this stuff out, our children could go back and look at it, and we have a presentation for our children.
Yes, scholars are there to give us the groundwork for which we can not be scholars and still talk about this shit. Basically.
So I know that people think that it's important for all Black people to be scholars, but I think that it's more important for all Black people to be employed, and all Black men with children to be fathers. That's the important thing. as we go through Black History Month, right? And we get to the pinnacle of Black History Month, I guess, for this year. The guy who pretends to be a father on Instagram while scamming people online, ruining the name of his children, and he'll be not there. You know what I'm saying? Those charges hanging over his head may mean that he doesn't get to be there for his children after he ruined their name and image.
Visiting hour is a mofo.
So to all those scholars out there, if you don't have one, get a job. Trip, you have anything to say? Oh, if anybody was wondering how our graveyard host is getting around, because I got some questions. He gave me a call the other day.
Oh wait, yeah, he did, didn't he?
He gave me a call the other day. He texted me to let me know he's all right. He actually met some guys. They had a brown van, and they've been just riding around the country with this brown van. So they decided to help us out in our graveyard tour, but they don't want to be seen. So he sent the picture. Did I send it to you, Trip, or do I got it? Let me see if I can find it.
That's a lot of scrolling.
Okay. Oh, I sent it to you earlier. Yeah, because he had texted me earlier. I was wilding like, yo, what are you gonna do? Because I'm not sending you no money.
No money.
And he said, I got it. So you know, I figure, hey, shout out to the brown van. And hopefully when our graveyard host is done, you know, he follows that alleged court order that says go get a job.
Crystal, what is you doing?
So shout out to the brown van. Shout out to the brown van. Shout out to our graveyard host. If you're out there and you want to send some donations to the graveyard host, send them to the Boys and Girls Club or something.
Yeah. Don't send your money to him. Send your money to a real charity. You can write off on your taxes. Catfish.
Hey, yo, he has been so quiet lately, or he's been hiding. Like I've been looking for the live since you know, we're friends now. I'm following again. He can't block me. I periodically go back and check if he blocked me.
Lord. This is my first time getting blocked, and I actually feel kind of rejuvenated. You know, I came up, I found my own car, and you know, I'm cruising around in that joint. It ain't got 18s, but I keep them clean though.
You know, it's crazy. So, like when you get blocked, it's like on the Highlander when you cut someone's head off and you get all the energy from them. Yeah. And then afterwards, like it's just a body just flopping there on the Highlander ground, just flopping.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that a little bit.
That used to be my jam. I don't think y'all laugh.
Yo, Queen did they thing on that one. Queen had some real serious adrenaline hits.
Yes.
Shout out to Freddie Mercury in my bait car.
Yes. Yeah. Thursday nights.
Yo, this is like the ultimate Hotep song.
You almost made me spit orange juice on my keyboard. This ain't the one. No. I want the one off the actual TV show. That's how
Yo, no, the one off the TV show isn't Queen. That's a remake of their song.
Yeah,
But
that ain't it either. That's the movie.
is it?
No, I'm going through this.
Ah,
Here we go. There we go.
Born in the Highlands of Scotland 400 years ago. He is not alone.
400 years ago.
There are others like him. Some good, some evil. A century of forces of darkness. The holy ground is only refuge. He cannot die unless you take his head and limit his power. In the end, there can be only one. He is Duncan MacLeod.
From the Cotton McCloud. So it was holy ground, not sacred. Just when the song was getting good, they cut it off and the Highlands came up.
yeah, you know when people be trying to quote stuff and they ain't really watch the movie like that. You know how that goes.
Come sit. I have no rival. There can be my equal. To the future of you all. They used to be my shit. Got off because we sitting up here. We supposed to be talking about Charles.
It's wild because this Black History Month is so interesting because the topic of roaches keeps coming up,
Ain't
and
it though?
Charles, without Charles, we probably wouldn't know how to dispose of roaches.
They not really gotta know. Where the hell did you find this picture of the graveyard house right here? Where he looked like he twisting the night away.
I mean, you know, he's always dancing, so you know, fine. Every time you send him some money or he eats, he dancing, so you know, it's always easy to find him dancing.
Gifts. $3 to $5. He'll do a whole joke for you.
Yo, it's so hilarious because when you go into the history of that raccoon term that he likes to use so often.
Mm-hmm.
In the vaudeville plays, it would be the raccoon term that does all the dancing.
Yes.
So it's wild how, you know, he embodies. Oh, it's crazy.
Like Step and Fetch It,
Mhm.
Chicken George, you know, stuff like that.
It's like this chitlin circuit is really like the
That is
chitlin circuit.
restoration
It's really
microwave,
like
brothers and
vaudeville.
sisters.
It's like this isn't even serious. Like these are people pretending to be scholars. These are and it's almost like in blackface. You know, like I wouldn't even be surprised if people like Jordan Peterson were writing. Is it Peter Jordanson or Jordan Peterson? One of them, because I confuse them. They both look the same. One is racist and one is Canadian. But y'all know which one I'm talking about. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he was like writing these niggas scripts. It wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination. But again, you know, we have time to get into that because Black history is short, but it could be long for some of these folks that are holding up the bullshit and promoting the bullshit. So again, if you think that that helping Black people is running around making up stories about imaginary white assassins and FBI conspiracies, and you think that's cool, you actually probably need a therapist or some type of intensive therapy because that's a mental illness in a lot of respects. Like there's something called Occam's razor. And what Occam's razor does is it cuts away bullshit.
Yes, that would be what Occam's razor does.
So when you get in this, when you're coming up with these conspiracies about the white man, try to prove yourself wrong before someone else does, and then you won't get mad and wanna turn your chat to subs only when you do a live. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Lord.
But you know, like really, like if you think that everything that happens to black people, like even the things that black people do to themselves, there's a secret white hand behind.
Racial white supremacy.
You probably really do need a life coach.
Cyber defamation litigation, my brother.
And like, not like one of those pretend made up YouTube life coaches. A real
credit restoration microwave, Jay.
Oh, by the way, Eugene contacted me and told me that he's going to start selling actual microwaves now to microwave food. So
it's too late. It's entirely too late.
I mean, he said he wants to start something lasting for his family. He's been watching these presentations.
Can you get a business license while you in jail?
I think you know what. He doesn't operate through his own name anyway, so he could just be in jail and one of the ladies can do it.
Basically,
you know, these guys like the ladies to do everything for them anyway. So, and sometimes it's, and you know what? And to be fair, you know what? I like my wife to help me do things too. I like her to be involved in the thing I do. She makes sure I'm not like full of shit. So, ladies,
they're not doing their job.
Ladies, please, if you're gonna say you're a man's wife, like, don't let him walk outside with them wild, colorful outfits and gas his head up like the emperor with no clothes on. That's not wife stuff. A wife says, put on something that doesn't look funny. I'm just saying. And Charles Turner also had 2 wives, but he actually married them both. So he actually waited till one of them passed away and then married another wife. So I'm sure he cared.
Sorry, I was trying to. Hold on, let me do this for a second. Okay, now say something.
Okay, my back?
Yeah.
Yo,
and better.
It just seems like I've been getting muted since last weekend.
What you mean when I mute you to fix the audio?
Well, at least you muted me to fix the audio. Before I was getting muted because I was being honest.
Oh,
so
that ain't got nothing to do with it. You know, some people like Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth.
Oh, but everybody, what I was saying, because I know Eugene, what I was saying before the mute, go get a job.
Got to have a job.
Like when you get in there, like there's a lot of jobs that you can actually get while you in jail.
That's what all the women should have been singing to Eugene this whole time.
Yep. We're not all gonna sleep on the floor and do weird stuff with you until you at least get a job at McDonald's.
That part. He could have been, what's his name from them commercials?
Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin. Calvin was a manager by the time it was over.
Hell yeah, man.
Calvin won McDonald's.
Calvin was that dude, man. Like, yo, every time I saw a Calvin commercial, I wanted a McDonald's toy. I'm just saying, back in the day. Shout out to
Calvin
227. Shout out to 227.
Yeah.
But Eugene, like really, by now you could have been like, you could have at least been like the head fry cook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
At the least, at the very least, the head fry cook.
You could have wrote 92 manuals on how to make fries.
Updated manuals on how to work the fry machine.
You know what I'm saying? You could have worked at Amazon and been passing out actual books. You could have been delivering real books. You could have delivered 90 books by now. Shout out to Eugene.
There is something different about him. Just go to show you can't judge a book by its cover. Looks like responsibility's been good for him. Well, I'm just glad somebody believed in him enough to give him a chance. Wonder where he
Go, Calvin.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I help you?
Calvin didn't look old enough to be working at nobody nowhere.
JLB, man. What? He's still flipping those burgers at Mickey D?
Crystal. Oh my gosh.
Yo, is that Hits from the Street?
Say what?
Is that, remember Hits from the Street? Is that Hits from the Street?
I don't know.
He's your order.
Thanks.
He's not tired of that yet. Could be kicking it with us. Having big fun. He says he has a plan, man. Meet the newest member of our management team, Calvin.
See? Calvin made manager.
Yep, I'm part of the management team now, mama.
Oh, baby, so proud of you.
Don't wear my boy too hard now. Yeah, you're right, because he does wear some fresh clothes.
See, why did they make it look like it was uncool to have a job in the hood? Jimmy say, wait, I want to do the fries.
Nah, Jimmy, you gonna eat all the fucking fries if you do them.
That's why he want to do them, so he can eat them. Turn around, Jimmy, mouth full of fries. Jimmy, where the order at, huh?
What? Hey yo, I would probably be fat as a motherfucker if I ever worked at McDonald's back in the day.
I'd never eat fast food again, probably.
Yo, why do all teenagers be addicted to fast food? What is it about fast food that's so attractive to teenagers?
Rush.
Yeah.
High fructose corn syrup.
Corn syrup and meat.
High fructose corn syrup in the meat.
I think they probably put high fructose corn syrup in the burgers.
It is. I ain't playing.
Oh shit.
Now, back in the day when internet first started, they used to say that McDonald's chicken nuggets was made out of koala meat, but not koala meat. Koala meat. That's what it was. But it is not. I can confirm. They always got something strange to say. They've been talking about the milkshake machine at McDonald's so long, they done set an investigation out for that shit.
Yeah, I had a milkshake at McDonald's in years. Like the last time I stopped, the last time I went to McDonald's, the milkshake machine was broken. So
yeah, exactly.
It's probably been at least a decade.
Their asses now because the milkshake machine always broke.
Calvin, why ain't you ever fix the milkshake machine?
That milkshake machine ain't broke. They just say it's broke so they don't have to clean that motherfucker.
Yo, I hope they do clean it. Yo, if you walk into a fast food joint and it looks slightly dirty or the employees look slightly lazy, get some bottled water because you could die messing with dirty water things, them dirty soda machines.
Dysentery ain't no joke.
So that's another health tip from Inky. So you get a free health tip on Black History Month. Shout out to Charles H. Turner.
Yes, shout out. One of the founding fathers, well, the founding father of etymology.
So Remy, we need a song. If you bugging out, say Charles Turner. For Black History Month.
This is one of the most black interest in Black History months we've had in a while. I mean, because January last year topped everything else.
Yo, it's so much. It was the scandal that we shall not name.
Yes. I was sitting up here shocked and appalled, and I had to clutch my pearls. I said, "Oh my!"
Like, yo,
and they say we savages.
It's crazy because the Treehouse got censored on Black History Month. Like, we couldn't talk about the upcoming Black History, though everyone on YouTube was talking about this Black historical moment, and we were wrong for doing it, and we became demons of the night. So I accept that, and I painted a hexagram all around myself in honor of that, because someone so wise and intelligent, if they call you a demon, they must be right.
I mean,
You know,
hey, I'm supposed to be a sociopathic, narcissistic, cult leading slave master.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, if he was wrong, he would know the book of Jeremiah. So since he doesn't, he must be right.
Hey.
Anyway, moving along. But anyway, if you have herpes on your mouth from kissing someone's ass who has herpes, you could get the juggling niggas and rub the nuts all over your mouth.
Is it supposed to cure it completely or just tap down the flare?
I mean, I couldn't tell you because you know, it's one of them Sebi remedies, so it probably don't really work. As far as I know, if you got herpes on your mouth, you're probably gonna have it forever until the nervous system decays off your bones when you're in the graveyard. Won't be no videos then, but the herpes will be gone though. I don't know about your manager; he might still have them. Allegedly.
So we are going to go ahead and close out for the night. And don't forget, 9:30, Nequa B is going to be live interviewing Suave Boss from the Argument League. Be there or be square-ish like Wombat Poop.
Might even start an argument. Might even start an argument. All I gotta say is peace to the chat. Peace to anybody that catches this later on. Hit the like, hit the subscribe for me and in the Treehouse. Don't expect anything consistent from me because I just do what I want to do. So, but Tree is very professional with her thing here. So subscribe to both. But you know, I'm just gonna bug out, just like Charles H. Turner. So with that being said, shout out to Charles H. Turner and Roaches. Peace.
This is TripCTreehouse, where it's always swinging.